I'm going to be sharing with you in this video how to trust your feelings when you're creating what you actually want. Because the truth is that I think that you're going to need to learn to trust in your feelings and in your intuition if you're going to want to create what you actually desire in your life. Because when you have a belief system that you're trying to develop and to step into, people are going to tell you how to live your life. And I'm not saying that they're going to try to attack you or they have something against you or that you need to blame them. And this is not a blaming game. It's not that I'm telling you to blame people and say, oh, people are out to get me and that they don't understand me. It's not what I mean. What I'm saying is that if you're creating something absolutely new that has never been created before, that has never been created in existence, of course, people are going to have some type of perspective about that or some feeling about that. But it's almost your job and your responsibility to say, you know what, I'm going to trust in my intuition and how I feel about this situation because this is what I want. This is my desire. See, if you look at something as simple as, I don't know the exact example, I'm going to have to look it up afterwards, but there's records that people beat in regard to races, like the 100-meter dash. And I'm sure there's a record for the 100-meter dash. I'm sure there's a record right now. And I'm sure that somebody was trying to beat the record for the first time, and other people told that person that it was not going to be possible. But possible and impossible are really dependent on if you're going to trust in your intuition when you're creating something. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to really trust in your intuition and what you're thinking and what you want to create so that you don't need to believe in some outdated beliefs or feelings that are not in alignment with what you're creating and what you actually want. And so the first thing that I want to share with you in this video is just to remember that your intuition is absolutely number one. And yes, it sounds cliche. Yes, it sounds a little bit, out there or maybe airy-fairy, to say it in this way. But it's the truth. The truth is that your intuition is always going to be king. It's always, I know it sounds weird to say it like that, but it's the truth. Your intuition, nothing can go away from what you truly feel. Because once again, you might see something in the world that other people can't see, a vision. There's some type of vision, there's something that you want to create that other people just haven't seen yet. They don't see it in existence yet. They haven't really, they don't have a grasp on it, simply because, it hasn't been created yet. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no issue at the current present moment. But what's really going on there is that it's time for you to step into what you want to create so that you can actually see it happen. And then people will start to trust you more because they're seeing that you're actually taking action and you're actually creating the thing that you actually want to see. But that's only going to happen if you trust in your intuition and what you feel once you've decided that you have a desire to create something. So once you've created a desire to create something, or once you've made a decision to create something, to step into some type of world in your life, the truth is that your intuition is going to be very useful in order to create these things in your life. And in fact, it's going to be one of the most powerful tools in your life to be able to create what you want. It's going to be the most powerful thing that you have in your toolkit, in your arsenal to do what it is that you want to create. And so the second thing that I want to share with you in this video is just to remember that you really want to choose the easier route. And what I mean by that is, going back to even the first point, when I'm saying your intuition is number one, am I saying that there's not going to be times where you feel like things are problematic, or that you feel like you shouldn't trust in your intuition, and because what if you're wrong? Am I saying that you're not going to be wrong sometimes? Well, no, I'm saying that of course I'm saying that sometimes you're going to be wrong. You're going to be wrong. Your intuition is not always going to be the truth. Sometimes your intuition is not telling you the truth because how you feel doesn't even matter. And the truth is that what you really have to do in that moment is to take action, because action is going to help you to feel better afterwards. See, sometimes we don't feel like taking action. It's like, oh, I don't want to take action. It's like, when you don't feel like waking up in the morning to go to work It's like you don't want to go to work, right? Whatever it is you do in your life, but sometimes you don't want to wake up. You know that feeling when you don't want to wake up and you don't want to do stuff? But then once you wake up and you start doing stuff, you start feeling better afterwards, right? That's the key here, is that remember, sometimes your intuition is not number one. Sometimes your intuition is lying to you, and really what you have to do is remember that you need to take action to then feel better after, once again. And so, although that sounds contradictory to what I said a moment ago, the reason why I'm bringing up this first point once again is to remember that you can remember that there's just sometimes an easier path to take. There's just an easier path to take. Sometimes you might be wrong. Sometimes it's going to be problematic as you go through life, where you actually don't need to trust in your intuition and you just need to go against how you feel and just do the harder thing. Other times though, you're just going to want to take the easier route and just make the easier choice. Not everything has to be hard. Not everything has to be difficult. Sometimes once you've put in enough action and enough effort and enough consistency into something for a certain period of time, it's almost like you've deserved almost to, it's not really like an arrogant thing where you deserve to be better, but it's almost like the momentum inevitably comes because you're putting in so much action that now it can just be easier. It can just be easier. Think about it like this. Sometimes you're going to be wrong. Sometimes you literally are going to be wrong. You're going to trust in your intuition, and you're absolutely just going to be wrong. You're going to be plain, straight up wrong, and you're going to make mistakes. And you're going to have to live with those consequences. But what I'm telling you is that wisdom, true wisdom, is accepting that when you have an intention and then you trust in that intention, you fully trust in your intuition. You're okay with that. You're okay with the fact that you're going to be wrong sometimes. You're going to make mistakes. But through that process, you're going to become more wise. And you're going to be able to trust in your intuition. But then that feeling is going to be almost just correct more of the times than not, because you've built up this trust within yourself to then be creative and then to develop what you want to create as you think about it. You have a desire, and then you just are able to create it very quickly, to be able to step into that very, very quickly, and just to be that person that you really want to actually be. So just remember that, sometimes you're going to have to go against how you feel. You're going to have to stop trusting in your feelings. You're going to have to stop trusting in just your feelings, and just do the thing that's hard. Just do the thing that's difficult. Other times though, you're just going to want to trust in the easier path. Stop making it so difficult for yourself. Don't make it such a difficult and strenuous process where things have to be so hard for you and it has to be difficult and you always have to go against your feeling. You never give yourself a rest day to just be restful and to be calm. It's like you have to remember that, you might have a question at this point, which is, how do I navigate that situation? Like, which one do I do? Am I supposed to just go against how I feel and then just take action? Or am I supposed to always trust in my feelings and then never take action? Well, sometimes trusting in your feelings will lead you to take more action sometimes and less action other times. It's just really about remembering that moment to moment, really, even if you decide not to take action, your intuition might tell you that. Like, I think that the body and that deeper intelligence within us is so intelligent and so powerful, and it's something that has so much wisdom that you've gained over how many years of mistakes and problems and not being your best version sometimes, and then learning all these, learning from all these mistakes and all these lessons, right? All this wisdom is deep within you, and it's your job almost to trust in that feeling because it's going to be right so many of the times. And I'm going to tell you right now that I promise you, I bet you there's been many times where you didn't trust in that feeling, you didn't trust in your intuition, and it led you astray into a direction that you didn't like, and it was much harder than it actually had to be. And it could have been easier. It could have been much easier, but instead you chose the harder path. And it's okay. There's nothing wrong with choosing the harder path. There's nothing wrong with that, but just remember that you're going to learn a lot of lessons in that space, and you're going to learn what not to do and what you don't like and what you didn't actually like. And what I invite and encourage you as I continue this video is just to remember that, where in your life can you still put in the work, just as much effort. I'm not saying to put in half effort. I'm not saying to put in half the work, or to not break a sweat sometimes, or to not put in, take action even if you don't feel like it. What I'm saying is that what I really want to get to here is, where can you make your life easier? That has nothing to do with taking action or not taking action. Action has nothing to do with this. It has to do with what is going to help you to feel better. Because notice that even when I'm talking about taking action or moving forward, what I'm really doing is I'm still telling you to trust in your intuition, because your intuition might be telling you that now is the time to take action, because I know that I have to feel better right now, and that I'm not going to feel better if I don't do this. And that's still intuition. Intuition is almost something deeper than a feeling. It's not even a feeling almost. It's almost something deeper than a feeling that leads you to then feel better afterwards, if you trust in that deeper part of you that just knows how to be, how to act. Of course, the goal is to feel better, and your intuition and your feeling is the number one thing you want to trust in, but there's something even deeper that you want to trust in that's going to lead you to feel better. And I think that this is what we want to learn to trust in as we're going through our life, to then be that person that we really want to be. And remember that just be open to making it actually easier. So where again can you make it easier in your life? Where can you stop making it difficult? Where can you stop making it hard for yourself and stop choosing the harder path? Where can you be the person that you actually want to be, and then stop pretending that you want to be some type of person in that moment? Stop pretending that you want to be that person in that moment, and be the person that you actually want to be. If you're being something that you don't want to be, don't pretend that you want to be that. Let that go, and then be the person that you actually want to be in your life instead. And then so really this is about remembering that it's not about putting in less action or less effort or less commitment. It's just remembering, where can you leverage your skill sets and then be better, but not necessarily work harder. Don't work harder, just be more consistent. Sometimes it's not about intensity, it's about consistency. Consistency over time is something that you want to value if you want to create what you want. You don't have to do that, but I invite and encourage you to value that, because it's going to be much easier to create what it is that you want. So I recommend that, you can do what you want, but I recommend that you're open to choosing the easier path. And choosing the path that is just easier, not because you're going to be putting in less action, not because you're going to be putting in less work, but to just the path that's going to be still the same level of action, but you've made it easier. You've somehow made it easier for yourself because you were open to the opportunity that it can be easier. Sometimes simply it's not even about how much effort you're putting in. It's not even about how much action you're willing to put in. You might have one person that's willing to put in a certain level of action and a certain level of discipline and a certain level of commitment and devotion to a certain way of being. You might have person B, another person, with the exact same level of commitment and devotion and excellence and skill sets and potential, and they're both just as committed. But one person might simply be open to the possibility that there may be an opportunity where it can be easier for them to get what they want with that same level of action. And the other person might not be open to that possibility. Now, they're both going to be willing to put in the same level of work and the same level of action, yet one person might just have a much easier time creating what it is that they want. And why is that the case? Well, that's the case simply because of their intention and their preparation for how they're setting up their system as they go through the world. Your own system, your own way of being. Are you prepared to receive your desire? Are you prepared to receive what you want? If you actually were able to, see that opportunity and to see that thing that you wanted to create in your life, would you be open to the opportunity? Would you actually see it in your life? Or would you block it off, continually choosing the harder path over and over and over, not seeing that it can be much, much easier if you were just open to the possibility and not so stuck in your past belief and the past way of thinking? If you weren't so stuck in the past way of thinking, you might find that there's so many easier ways to create what you want without struggling as much, without putting in the struggle and the hard work. And you can still put in the hard work just as much, but just make it easier for yourself if you're open to it. And the final thing that I want to share with you in this video is just remember that, how do you trust your feelings when creating what you actually want? Well, just remember that your feelings are going to bring you to your intentions. That's just how it works. That's what your feelings are designed for. I think that people need to remember that your feelings and your deeper intelligence is a system designed to help you get closer to what it is that you care about and what your intentions are. That's just what it is. That's what that deeper intelligence within you is designed for. That's what the emotional system is designed for. I just think that we've never been taught to see it in this way. I think that the emotional system and the emotional body is quite literally communicating to you moment to moment, are you in alignment with your intention, yes or no? If you're not in alignment with your intention, well, your body and your intelligence and your intuition and your feelings are going to show you that you're doing something wrong. You're not doing something correct. If you're thinking something that's out of alignment with your desire, your body and your intuition will literally show you, and it'll make you feel bad. It'll make you feel disgusting, and you're going to feel guilt and shame and negative emotion. See, anger is not bad. Anger is a good emotion. But what is anger? Anger is a spark to be better because you're not accepting the situation, and then you learn to create a better situation. You say, hey, you know what? I've already accepted this situation. I fully get it. I'm there. But now I'm upset about the situation. And I accept that I'm angry, but I want to be better. It's not about resistance. It's about accepting the anger as well and using that anger to transmute that into something even more amazing and something that you prefer instead. But just remember that when you're feeling something bad, that's your body telling you, that's your system, that's life telling you, hey, you need to knock that off. Think something better, think something different. And not that it's good or bad or better. And it's not even about good or bad, really. It's about what you want. Yes, good and bad are all subjective, but what do you want? How do you want to live your life? Excuse me. How do you want to be in the world? Do you want to be peaceful and calm and restful and happy with your life? Or do you want to feel like you're continually going against your heart's desire and what you care about? See, your heart and your heart's desire is what's going to bring you that sense of freedom and purpose and joy. Freedom, purpose, and joy is created from within yourself. It's not created from the outside world. How do you create freedom and a feeling of freedom and purposefulness and joyfulness in your life? How do you do this? Well, you do this by deciding on your intention, deciding on your purpose, and relentlessly and fearlessly and boldly taking action on that desire every single day of your life. Every single moment of your life, you're going to be fully committed to creating your desire and what it is that you actually care about. That's what life is about. I think that life is about committing 100%, not 90%, not 99 or 50 or not even, of course, 20, but 100% commitment, 100% full devotion to your desire and what you care about. Because if you don't, time is still going to be moving forward no matter what. No matter what, tomorrow's still going to be coming. No matter what, time still moves forward. And you know what? No matter what, you're still going to feel pain. I talk about this so much, but remember, suffering and pain is going to happen no matter what. But you may as well take that suffering, take that pain, and use it towards something better to create what you actually want. Because if you're not going to take that pain and turn it into gold, then you're just going to feel pain and recreate the pain. Why recreate the pain of the past over and over and over if you can use that pain to create a better future? Why be stuck in the pain of the past if you can create something better later? Why not use the pain of the past as a productive tool and fuel for a better future? Why not use the trauma and the pain of the past to create a better future for yourself and to be happier later? So remember that, when you're feeling negative, that's your body telling you, how can you reshape your thinking, realign your way of being to then come back into trusting your feelings again, so that then you can either take action or not take action, whatever you need to feel better. Sometimes you're going to have to take action. Sometimes you're not going to have to take action. It's not really about which one. It's about what you need to do and how you need to be, and are you in alignment with your goal? And if you're not in alignment with your goal, what do you have to do to fix that? Your body will tell you, because it's very simple. I think that this is how life works. I think that we've forgotten that we have a deeper intelligence within us that's consistently communicating to us if we're able to create what we want or not, or if we're in alignment with that or not. Because you can always create what you want, but the question is, are you willing to commit to it, and are you willing to trust if you're in alignment with that? Because you know if you're out, here's my bold claim right here, is that you absolutely know if you're out of alignment with your desire. The question is, are you willing to trust in that 100%? Because so many people don't. They don't. They go against their trust, their feeling of trusting themselves, because they think that they have to. But the truth is that they're making that choice. There's nobody to blame but yourself if you're going to make a choice to not trust in your own intuition. You can't keep blaming the world. You can't blame, the past. You can't blame anything outside of you. You need to take back your power and remember that if you're not trusting in your intuition, that's up to you. That's your decision to not trust in who you want to be. If you really want to be the person that you say you want to be, then stop ignoring your intuition. Stop ignoring how you actually feel. Be the person that you say you want to be by trusting in that deeper intelligence within you, where you know exactly what you have to do to create what you want. And my invitation to you and my claim here is that if you learn to trust in that, you're going to be able to start to create what you want again in a way where it doesn't feel like a burden and a struggle, because you're fully enjoying the process of creating who you're deciding to be. And I think that's what life is about too, is not striving for the next result to that then be happy with the result that you're getting, but to be happy with the person that you're being in this present moment, right? And trusting in the feeling moment to moment. And because you know that you can trust in your feelings, because to me, that is a very empowered feeling when you can learn to trust in that deeper part of you that knows what actions to take or not do when moment to moment to be the person that you desire. If you can learn to trust in that, I think that's very powerful, and I invite and encourage you to be open to this so that you can actually live a life of joy and peace and restfulness, and then to be able to create what you want in a much easier way, where now you feel like you're back in your power and you're not trusting in things that you don't want to trust in, but you can be the person that you actually decide to be for yourself.